exercise. Can you definitely see it? And when we lined everybody up, you can see the difference in pace from Abby to Luke, right? From Mike to Nicole. It's pretty easy when you're aware of it. You can really pick up on it. So picking up clues. There's no right or wrong, right? Different is different. There's no good personality or bad personality. There could be misalignments. It's probably not great to have a highly social person, like doing your bookkeeping, maybe, right? And it's probably not great to have an analytical being your salesperson, right? Probably don't want a amiable negotiating your contracts, right? So that's kind of 201, 301, having the right personalities in the right positions. So no good or bad style. Moderate stress clarifies style. So sometimes, you know how, have you guys noticed, and if you haven't noticed yet, you will, there are some nice people all the time, and then there's some jerks that just like try to be nice, right? There's just those people out there, right? But you put people under moderate stress and their primary personality style comes out very clearly. So I'm trying to think, what would be an example of stress?
Getting the house ready for company.
Yeah, mom getting the house ready for company. Job interviews. You know, in the examples that we talked to, buying a home is stressful. So the folks that we would work with, our customers, they were under moderate stress. So it's very easy to pick up on their clues. So a good way to pick up clues is ask what I call an engaging question. So examples of engaging questions are, how goes your day? How goes the war? Are you excited about your new fill in the blank? You just ask an open-ended question. So, you are going for an interview, and the interview person meets you up front, and generally you walk back to an office to do the interview. So you say to the person that's going to interview you, you say, how's your day going? What is the driver going to say? Good. What is the social going to say? Yeah. So I'll verbalize what Abby said with her hand. Abby said, the social is going to go on and on, right? What's the analytical going to say? Well, I've had 3 hours and 13 and a half minutes worth of meetings today, right? Something very specific, right? They're going to list out some details. And what will the amiable say?
Good, how are you?
Exactly. Yes, Luke. I'm excited that you guys are picking this up. I've given this class about 20 times, and you guys are doing way better than most of the adults I've taught this to. So, you're in for an interview. You're met at the door. You say, how's your day? Based on what they say, now how are you going to structure your answers to the interview? It's going to be different, right? With the social, you'll really want to make a people connection. With the driver, you're just going to want to show your accomplishments. With the analytical, you're going to want to give a lot of details. Make sense? All right. Am I beating a dead horse? All right. Look at the level of assertiveness, pace, and emoting. We've beaten that. Practice picking up clues in 30 seconds. We talked about that. It's easiest to get along with the folks that are up and down or side to side to us. Hardest on the diagonal. So when you take a personality test, and again I'm going to give you some links for that at the end. They give it in different ways. Some of the tests gives it to you in bars. So this is what my score looks like. So I score highest on the D. I score next highest on analytical, then social, and then steady. So all of us have these characteristics. I can't imagine anybody scoring like a 0 in one of these, but you'll have your dominant characteristic, right? So strategies. Let's look at the strategies for each style. So for the driver. So we're going to interview with a driver. What would be another example? We're going to go to a scholarship board for with a driver. You're going to meet your future in-laws, and you quickly pick up a clue that one of your future in-laws is a driver, so you want to make a good impression. I'm trying to give you examples of where you would use this, right? So some strategies for the driver. Talk in terms of results. Be clear, specific, brief, and to the point. I opened this up with, I worked for a guy, a driver, and my coworkers would say, you always get whatever you want in there. What do? I go in there and he just like huffs at me. I would go in there, I'd be clear, specific, brief, and to the point. You know, here's the bottom line, this is what I need, can I have it? Yes. And I'd turn around and I'd walk out. And my coworkers would just be baffled because many of them were socials. So I was a driver and he was a driver, so we were already kind of on the same wavelength. But the socials, hey George, how's your day? How's things going? You know, my dog is sick, da, da, da. And George would just, you know, because he was always under moderate stress, so he was deep in driver mode. And he'd be like, get out of my office. Stick to business. Be prepared with all your requirements, objectives, support, material, and a well-organized package. If you want to make me crazy as a driver, give me a call, get me on the phone, and then start shuffling. Oh, Rick, I need to ask you a question. I'm looking for it right now. Oh! Be prepared, right? When you're going to deal with a driver, have everything ready. Have all your papers out. Be ready to go. Here's an example. You call someone to make an appointment, and the driver says, okay, how about Tuesday? Oh, just a minute, let me get my calendar. What? If they could stab you through the phone, they would. Present facts logically, plan your presentation effectively, concisely. Give them key alternatives and choices. So a good technique, a good strategy for drivers is, would you like A or B? They like that because they make the decision. Remember that one? Would you like an 8 o'clock appointment? She says, I'm half asleep. Okay, how about 1 o'clock? No, let's do the 8 o'clock. Drivers want to make the decision. If you disagree, take issue with the facts, not the person. Motivate and persuade by referring to objectives and results, right? Bottom line stuff. They don't like emotional reasoning. After talking business, end the call graciously. When I get what I wanted from George, I'd turn around and walk out. If George was a social and I got what I wanted and turned around and walked out, what would happen? They would be hurt, right? Because they want to connect as people. If you're selling to a driver, a good way to get them, and when I say selling, not just cars and stuff, and we sell ideas, we sell a lot of things, right, is give them a choice. Social, talk in terms of big picture, future-oriented, long-term potential, right? They're broad brush folks. Plan the interaction that supports their dreams and feelings and intuitions. Use the time to be stimulating, right? So we just talked about two personalities. One, be brief and be out. With the social, be stimulating, be fast-moving, right? Talk about people and their goals. They find other opinions stimulating. Don't deal in details. Keep it broad brush. They are an emotional decision maker, so you want to talk emotions. Provide testimonials from people. Continue supporting the relationship. Be casual, right? They're people. And I always like to refer to them as friend. Okay, friend, this is what we're going to do, right? To get them to move on a decision, you say, if we get this done today, we'll avoid some kind of impending doom. Okay? All right, let's do a quick head check. Is this stuff making sense? Can you see kind of how it can be useful? When you look at your parents, do you see how your parents are different and how you might pitch the same thing differently to each parent? Mike knows I don't want right and justice, I want peace and quiet. Mom wants right and justice, right? Amiables. Show support and concern. Stress your need to help. Amiables are helpers. So they're great if you say, would you help me with this? I need to get your loan into underwriting, and to do that, I need this piece of paper from you. Oh, they love to help. The analytical would say, why do you need that? Right? Start briefly with personal commitment. Show sincere interest in them as people. Find areas of common involvement. Patiently draw out their personal goals, because they're slower paced, right? So you got to patiently bring out. Remember that one call where he said, I agree, but go argue with my realtor, please? She could have slowed down and drew out his concerns, right? But her pace was fast and his pace was slow. Present your case softly, not threateningly. If they agree easily, look for possible areas. That guy right out of the chute, that one man said, I agree, but he didn't. So even when they agree quickly, you still want to bring that out, right? Move in an informal, thorough, orderly fashion. And the biggest thing is give them guarantees that their decision will minimize risk, right? Amiables don't want to stand on their own decisions. They love to stand on guarantees, or this is what the experts say, or if I do this, the probability is low that we'll have any issues, or so on. To get them to make a decision, you can say something like, we've covered a lot of options. Would you like a day to sleep on it? And I can call you back tomorrow, right? They don't want you in their face. They want to think about it. And then analyticals. Prepare your case in advance. Use your time to be accurate. Lay out the facts. Approach them in a straightforward, direct, but low-key. Stick to business. Support their logical, methodical approach. Build your credibility by listing pros and cons to any suggestion you make. Right? Give them the facts, a lot of details. Give them time to verify predictability of your actions. I used the time example earlier. If you say you're going to call or show up or do something to an analytical, you show up that minute. Not early, not late. I'm telling you, for 75% of you that are not analyticals, it doesn't matter. And again, socials don't even know what time it is. For an analytical, you show up on the minute. Be accurate and realistic. Provide solid, tangible, practical evidence. When you're dealing with an analytical, it is not a fast conversation. Mike and I did some work for a man out in Louviers. He called me this week. I haven't told you the story, Mike. I told Mike and I told my coworker that I needed to call this guy back.